Everybody keeps using ChatGPT for tiny little tasks. Write an email, fix grammar, summarize this article, give me a caption. And honestly, that's like buying a Ferrari to drive to the mailbox. See, one thing I've noticed after using both ChatGPT and Anthropic Claude heavily is that they actually feel very different. Yeah, I'm talking about feelings. Claude feels more calm, analytical, structured, almost like talking to a strategist or a researcher that feeds back immediately. ChatGPT feels faster, more chaotic, more creative, more improvisational, almost like hyperactive brainstorming power, or a partner that just brainstorms all day long. Neither one is universally better. I want to make that clear. They're just different tools with different personalities. And honestly, ChatGPT is uniquely good at momentum. It's great at idea generation, exploration, and helping you move quickly when you use it correctly. Now, the real power of ChatGPT is not small convenience tasks. It really is cognitive leverage. It's speed, it's momentum, it's idea generation, and it's decision support. It's creative acceleration. It's turning your brain into a multiplayer mode. And most people, they still haven't figured out that yet. They're using maybe 1% of what this thing can actually do. So in this video, I'm going to show you 6 weirdly cool but powerful prompts that completely changed how I use ChatGPT every day. Today, I'm going to talk about ChatGPT, but now these are not generic top 10 prompts from Reddit or something like that. These are prompts that make ChatGPT feel like a productivity mutant almost. And once you start using prompts in this way, normal prompting honestly starts feeling primitive. All right, prompt number 1 is called the Chaos Monkey. And this one is incredible. When your thinking gets stale, that's when you should use this. Because most people do not actually have an idea problem. They have what I call a pattern problem. And they think inside the same mental loops, really, over and over and over again. It's the same marketing angles, the same titles, it's the same hooks, the same product ideas, the same business concepts. It's kind of what I call same safe thinking. And so your brain starts recycling itself, and the idea is that we need to break it. So this prompt breaks that. You might want to write this down, although I'll put the whole prompt below this video. So for now, generate 20 unconventional, high curiosity, emotionally charged ideas around this topic, and you insert the topic there. Avoid predictable answers, create angles that feel surprising, slightly dangerous, highly clickable, contrarian, or unusually insightful. So you can see this prompt is honestly ridiculous for YouTube ideas and ad hooks and webinar titles, landing page headlines, product positioning, content angles. I mean, really all of it. It's ridiculous how cool that is. Because ChatGPT is very good at generating variations. And when you force it outside of predictable structures, it's even better. Now, most people accidentally prompt for what I call average outputs. They say things like, give me ideas or help me brainstorm. That's too weak. We need specificity. And the AI defaults to safe, generic, boring outputs. But when you explicitly tell it to generate emotional tension, yes, tension is good, surprise, controversy, curiosity, or unpredictability, suddenly the outputs become amazingly, dramatically more interesting. And honestly, some of the best performing content online right now. I mean, it's just emotionally well positioned information, speaking to the human mind, right? That's it. The information itself is often not even radically different, but the framing is different. And that's the leverage here. Now, prompt number 2 is called the Workday Teleporter. This one is insanely practical if you constantly feel overwhelmed or busy. Because most people, and you know this, we don't have a productivity problem. We have what I call a friction problem. There's too many steps, too many manual steps, too much unnecessary work, too much context switching, too much complexity here. So this prompt forces ChatGPT to think like a speed engineer. Let's just go for the prompt. I need to compress an 8-hour project into 45 minutes. Here's the task, and you insert the task. Help me eliminate unnecessary steps, automate repetitive work, simplify execution, identify shortcuts, identify templates or frameworks, prioritize the highest ROI actions, and reduce cognitive load. I care about speed and output, not perfection. So you can see this prompt is insanely useful because ChatGPT is surprisingly good at identifying invisible inefficiencies. And you can use this for content production, presentations for sure, outreach, research, editing, automation, operational context, product launches, ad creation, and course development. We do a lot of courses. And one of the biggest mindset shifts in business is realizing that productivity is usually subtraction, not addition. And the highest leverage people are often not doing more. They're eliminating more. They're reducing drag. That's the key here. Reducing friction, reducing wasted motion. That's what creates speed. And honestly, AI is unbelievably good at helping with that. Now, prompt number 3 is what I call the rabbit hole machine. This is where ChatGPT starts feeling addictive, but in a good way. Because one of the craziest things about AI right now in 2026 is how fast it can accelerate curiosity. Traditional learning is slow. You watch a course, you read a book, watch another video, you take notes. But with ChatGPT, learning becomes interactive exploration. So here's the prompt. I want to become dangerously knowledgeable about this topic quickly, and then insert topic. Teach me the most important concepts, hidden patterns, insider terminology, controversial debates, advanced insights, practical applications, and common misconceptions. Then create a learning map showing what I should explore next. This is unbelievable for a number of things. Things like marketing, psychology, persuasion, sales, business models, AI tools, investing, communication, and anything you want to go deep on quickly. Because instead of consuming information passively, you start exploring dynamically. One insight creates another question. It sort of builds on itself. And that question opens up another rabbit hole. And then another, and another. And suddenly, you've learned more in 2 hours than most people learn in 2 months. Because the learning becomes really non-linear. Honestly, I think the people who learn the fastest over the next 5 years are going to have an enormous advantage. Not only because of AI, but this level of prompt engineering. Now, AI dramatically compresses capability acquisition for sure. And I just want to pause here real quick. If you're into practical AI workflows that actually help you save time and think better, create things faster, or make more money, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. I love subscriptions. I love your likes. I love your comments, and it helps the algorithm. Because most AI content right now is either kind of fear-based, it's hype, or generic kind of beginner tutorials. So what I'm trying to do here is focus on practical leverage. And that's the key. So number 4 prompt here is probably my favorite in this entire video series. It is the cringe detector. And honestly, this prompt alone, well, it might save your content, your emails, your LinkedIn posts, and maybe even your entire brand. Brand is extremely important because AI generated writing has really a gigantic problem right now. It sounds fake. It's overwritten. It's corporate. It's emotionally dead. Big deal. Predictable. Robotic. Everybody suddenly sounds like they swallowed LinkedIn. So this prompt forces ChatGPT to identify weak writing patterns before other humans really judge you, and sometimes silently so, for them, right? So here's the prompt. Analyze this content and identify where this sounds fake. Corporate, robotic, emotionally flat, attention losing, generic, or predictable. Highlight where readers would mentally disengage or scroll away. Then rewrite it to feel sharper, more specific, more human, more emotionally engaging, more controversial, perhaps, definitely more conversational, and for sure less AI generated. This prompt is amazing for YouTube scripts, emails, sales pages, webinar pitches, LinkedIn posts, ad copy, captions, landing pages. Really, if you think about it, that will help you with anything involving communication. And honestly, the internet is about to be flooded with the bland AI sludge. That is what we refer to as AI slop. It's generic writing, generic thoughts, generic formatting, it's generic tone. The people who stand out here are going to sound more human, not less. That's the opportunity. And once you start seeing robotic writing patterns, well, you can't unsee them anymore. A classic one is the M dashes, right? Now, prompt number 5 is the momentum engine. This one is massively useful to you if you have a tendency to procrastinate, overthink, or get overwhelmed by giant projects. Because most people lose momentum due to uncertainty. They don't know really the next step. So instead of moving, they freeze. So this prompt, it fixes that. And here it is. I'm stuck, overwhelmed, or procrastinating on this project, and then insert project. Break this into ridiculously simple next steps. Prioritize momentum over perfection. Create a fast action roadmap with the smallest possible actions that create visible progress immediately. So this prompt, it sounds simple, but psychologically, it's very powerful because action creates clarity. And most people wait for clarity before taking action. But usually clarity comes from action. And really, momentum reduces emotional resistance. So once you start moving, the project stops feeling so heavy. And honestly, ChatGPT, it is very good at reducing complexity into executable movement. And I've used this for launches, used it for funnel development, actually, YouTube videos, software projects, automation systems, presentations, and kind of random projects I've delayed for seemingly forever. So it's basically kind of an anti-overthinking system. And now, prompt number 6. This is the brain cloner. And honestly, this is where AI gets truly crazy, 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 because eventually the people who win with AI, they are not going to use it like a chatbot. They're going to use it like a cognitive infrastructure. This prompt is really intended to build on that. So here it is. Analyze my communication style, decision-making style, writing tone, pacing, humor patterns, explanation style, and persuasion style based on the examples below. Then generate new content, ideas, or responses that sound and think like me while improving clarity and effectiveness. This is an insanely powerful prompt because the goal of AI is not replacing your brain, clearly. The goal is extending it, extending your mind and your brain, multiplying it, scaling it. And most people still use ChatGPT like a vending machine. I mean, that's the best way I could put it. It's kind of an input the prompt, receive the output kind of deal. But the real power starts when it starts becoming kind of a thinking partner, an idea amplifier for you, a creative extension, and ultimately a cognitive layer. That's when things get really interesting fast. And honestly, I think most people still dramatically underestimate where this is heading. I mean, it's still early in many ways, but right now, people focus on writing emails, summarizing PDFs, and basically kind of productivity tasks. But the real shift here, it is much bigger. AI is becoming leverage for thinking, learning, communication, execution for sure, creativity, speed, and decision making. And the people building repeatable workflows around those things are quietly becoming dramatically more effective and productive than everybody else. That is a serious distinction. That's why prompting matters so much and why I'm doing these videos, not because prompts are magic per se, but because prompts determine the quality of thinking the AI gives back to you. And honestly, we are still early, as I said. I mean, very early. Most people still use ChatGPT like a toy. Meanwhile, other people are quietly building cognitive operating systems around it. That is currently actually the real divide that is happening right now. So, if you want more videos like this, what I call practical AI workflows, even weird prompt systems or names that I've used here, productivity leverage, and really overall smarter AI usage, hit subscribe and drop a comment with which prompt here in this video do you want to steal first. And honestly, I think the cringe detector, it might save the internet. As always, I want to thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. See you in the next video.